Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and today I am driving a 1999 Nissan Tino Autech Aero. Up front is a 2.0 liter inline 4, and down below is a CVT. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Autech Tino for one reason. It's weird, rare, kooky, and strange, and that's what gets me out of bed. So, the Nissan Tino was a little economy car. However, Autech was a sort of Nissan upfitter of the Aero. We did the Autech 260 RS last year, and that they fitted the GTR drivetrain into a family station wagon. This is more of an appearance package, and so far what I could find is one of the only ones that they did, although we do have some official literature that we'll talk about. So this is a strange automobile that you probably haven't seen before. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. Last but not least, huge thank you to the import guys here in Northern Washington for letting me borrow their Tino for today's video. More on them towards the end, but if you'd like to browse their awesome JDM inventory, you can do so down in the description below. But let's get back to that 2 liter under the hood. Well, that is the SR20 as we've known and loved it, and we even got it here in the States. It is a non-turbo engine, so it's nothing really too special. However, it's familiar, and that is certainly nice. However, like I said, paired to it is a CVT, meaning continuously variable transmission. Now, Nissan started later using CVTs here in the States towards the end of the 2000s, and that kind of gave them a pretty bad rap. Not a lot of people like the CVT, so let's see how it does here in 1999. Last but not least, it of course is front wheel drive. All right, foot to the floor. It's not shifting. Yeah, that's a CVT. That's a CVT if I've ever heard, seen, and felt one. Oh man, this thing is not fast. It is not even quick. It's not even brisk. However, it looks like it might be, so I guess that's a big plus. Visibility is pretty good. 90s cars were always pretty good about that. Steering is really light, and overall, it's a really pleasurable place to be from the driver's seat. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. Off to the left is my tachometer. In the center is the speedometer that says Autech Japan, and off to the right is the fuel and coolant temperature. The steering wheel does still say Nissan on it, no forward-facing buttons besides the horn, and moving off to the left, we do have a little cup holder up at the top, so we will test the big friggin' bottle. However, it unfortunately yet very predictably fails the big friggin' bottle test. Then we have a climate vent, mirror adjustment switches, and on the door we have lock and unlock, and our power windows, and this really nice green fabric that we'll talk more about a little bit later on. Moving into the center, we do have a screen that would pop up, however this unfortunately no longer works after the last 26 years. But we have our radio controls. We do have a auto changer control cassette. Love to see that. Different favorites and whatnot. We have 2 climate control vents, and then the climate controls themselves, where to send it off to the left, fan speed in the center, and temperature off to the right. We do have an ashtray and 12-volt outlet down below. And then we have our bench seat. So the Tino actually is a 6-person vehicle. Although it's very small, you get a bench seat in the front and a middle seat in the back. So this is a true MPV with a 6-passenger option, which is insanely unique and very special. However, speaking of seats, we do have those back seats. So let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 1999 Nissan Tino Autech. A couple of things to note. First of all, the teal seats carry on back here, very cool. We do have 3 seats across here, and you can see the 3rd seat up at the center, which does fold down for cup holders. They failed the big friggin' bottle test, but I forgot to mention that up front. Space back here isn't great, but again, you could legally normally take 6 people in your Nissan Tino. That is really, really cool. I mean, this could be, and more often than not was, the family vehicle. Japan is a lot smaller of a country here in the United States, so they don't go on as many big, long road trips. Also, it's an island, so there's not a whole lot of places to go. So the odds of you being stuck back here for 14 hours on end wasn't really an issue, so they could get away with smaller, more cramped vehicles. You were 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes in the car, and that was kind of it. So they didn't need much more. But of course, we do have ashtrays back here, because, you know, thank the Lord. Let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the Tino Autech, and two things to note. First of all, I got really nervous right before I hit record because I thought the car shut off. It didn't. It is that quiet. The plane flying over is louder than this vehicle. Very cool. And it does say Hyper CVT on it. But we do have a handle here and pull up. And as you can see, pretty uneventful trunk as it is. You do have a privacy cover as well, which is very, very nice. But that's really it. I mean, you could fit all of your luggage. You could fit 6 friends. I mean, this could fit as much as a Honda Stepwagon or other vehicles of that nature. So really, really cool to see all of that. That's what the rear trunk space looks like of a Nissan Tino. Did you think you'd learn that today? No, but you did. You're welcome. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and this is strange. Obviously, Autech had their way with this vehicle and made it look a little bit special with the fins and the wheels and the things and the that. This is a very cool looking car, although it doesn't quite have the bite to back up the bark. It's still just really, really cool to look at, and I was just so giddy to be able to drive one of these and experience this as so few people have. So with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the 1999 Nissan Tino Autech Aero Sports? Well, this has been an incredibly cool experience, mainly because if you Google Autech Tino, this is what comes up. Not this type of car, this exact car. And that's the only info I could find on it. Besides, if we cut to the in-car, it does have a Nissan Tino Aero Sports Autech booklet, and I'll open up the pages now. It's a very thin booklet. But this is all of the information that I have on a vehicle like this. This was an incredibly, incredibly low production run vehicle. Hey, look, don't put it through the car wash because the rear wing might come off. I love seeing that. That is so cool. And that's it. If you want to try to screenshot and do some Google Translate, you most certainly can. But I love the spirit of this car. The Tino overseas, and it was sold in several different countries and different markets, the Tino was basically their Versa or Sentra or small little economy car. Although it did have 6 seats, so it was more of an MPV, it is a small, affordable vehicle. And so Autech took it and kind of flipped that on its head. They made it more special and fun. This is like putting bling on a dining room chair. It wasn't really meant to be that special, but then you made it special. Autech made this very average, very boring, very nonchalant vehicle very, very cool and special. And that's what I like. I like the spirit of that. Taking something that isn't usually put up on a pedestal and making it pedestal worthy. That's the spirit of this. It's fun, it's funky, and it just shows that the mundane, boring, and cheap doesn't have to be mundane and boring. You can have fun at an affordable level. You can express yourself at an affordable level, and that's what this car is. It's so much joy, it's so fun, it's so interesting, and yet it's based off of something that was the exact opposite of all of those words. That's why I love this vehicle. It's so cool, and I was honestly just excited to show you guys what a Nissan Tino Autech Aero Sports was like, because I'm sure this is probably one of the very few, if not the only reviews of one on YouTube. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to the import guys here in Northern Washington for letting me borrow their Tino Autech here today. They have tons and tons of really cool inventory. Literally, going to them is like a candy store, and it is hard not to review everything. I don't have the time to review everything, but if I could, I would. It is truly, truly a candy store for JDM people. If you're at all interested in Japanese cars or just imported vehicles in general, they have a few German and European market vehicles, please go check them out with the link found in the description below. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.